Chester. But it's such a good sight, isn't it, seeing 8 abreast, 8s. And anyway, we've got another one on the stake boats now. We've got the A final coming up. We've got Abingdon School, we've got Shrewsbury, King's College, St Paul's, Eton College, Westminster School, Shiplake, St Edwards. This is the big one, the final of Queen Elizabeth Queen Mother Championship 8s. And they're on the start, and they'll be off and running very, very shortly. But if we can have as good a competition from this race as we've seen in some of the races earlier on, well, you're in for a treat. And they have started.
Thank you for all your efforts today.
Well, as my colleague Jonathan just remarked, yes, if this championship final matches the excitement that we've seen in some of the earlier races today, it'll be an absolute cracker. The Queen Mother Cup, always the climax of the National Schools Regatta, usually on the second day of racing in normal times, and we've seen some fantastic triumphs in that particular event over the years, and indeed it provides a marker, doesn't it, for the likely form come the Princess Elizabeth Challenge Cup at Henley Royal Regatta. I just wonder how many of these crews we'll see compete at Henley in the unusual date, the rescheduled date in August. Well, we're already through the first 400 metres, and the early leaders from Eton in the centre lane there. You can see them getting their bow ball in front for the about a canvas up on Royal Shrewsbury School, who posted a very fast time in this morning's time trial, where the fastest time of all was posted by St Paul's. They're currently in lane 4 in third position, just under a canvas back on second place Shrewsbury. Then in fourth position at the bottom of your picture, in the yellow hulled boat, that's St Edward's School. Fifth at this very early stage, well, that's the crew in lane 3, King's College School Boat Club. And then the tail enders look to be Westminster and Shiplake, but still a very early stage, but Eton looking to capitalise on that advantage, pounding down their course, and the swans that were enjoying a quiet siesta in the middle of the lake hadn't suddenly had to take flight, because they can see a flotilla of 8 powerful crews bearing down on them at some 30 knots, and they are scattering. And we've gone through the 750 metre signal, and the Eton advantage has lengthened out to 3/4 of a boat length, and with them go St Paul's. So that early challenge from Shrewsbury seems to be slipping back as the crews adopt their cruising speed through the centre of this race. We're rapidly approaching the halfway mark, the leading contenders setting an absolutely cracking pace, as one might expect from an A final of Championship Boys 8s. Eton attempting to break clear of the field before we get to the halfway mark. That would be an emphatic drive indeed, and as usual for the final race of the day, a large flotilla of coaches, bicycles, urging on with their crews in front of us, in front of our commentary vehicle. You can probably see the tops of some of their heads at the bottom of your picture there, so very much the focus of activity. The 72 competitors out there in the middle of the lake, and the best of them right now as the second half unfolds, Eton, who are looking to capitalise on that advantage yet again, and with them go St Paul's, hanging on grimly to the stern end of the Eton boat. But just look at the bottom of your picture, because St Edward's School, who were languishing back in 4th and 5th through the first half, have suddenly found new life and are right back into the picture, and with 1,250 metres gone, have overhauled St Paul's. Well, that's a turnaround after the time trial this morning. But let's not forget that time trials, head races, when crews have to have their own race plan down the 2,000 metres, they can't compare themselves with other crews on that same course. That is a completely different kettle of fish from side-by-side racing, when you can see exactly where you're at in relation to the other crews and can adjust your race plan accordingly. Well, such is the pace of this race. We are rapidly approaching the 1,500 metre signal. 3/4 of the course complete. Eton have gone clear. St Edwards are lying in second place but St Paul's sitting on their shoulder. And now new life for King's College School Boat Club, who slipped through into 4th place. So there's a complete rejig at the stern end of the field. The contenders for the minor placings are wanting to get right back in the mix. Well, are they going to challenge for silver and bronze here? Because surely there is no doubt that the Queen Mother Cup will yet again go to Eton, because they are sitting up so strongly and confident, as only a leading crew with this sort of advantage can do, sitting back on the finishes, driving that blade through the water, looking to just sit, or if possible increase on that substantial lead of just over a length they had. They're inside the last 250 metres of this course. Eton are indomitable, but St Paul's have gone through St Edwards. The Teddy's challenge seems to be fading rapidly. They have run right out of steam because they've been overhauled by King's at the top of your picture. But Eton are charging homeward, using perhaps the little advantage of home water, because let's not forget that for the during normal times this is their standard training lake, and so they are entirely familiar with the surroundings, but less familiar perhaps with winning the Queen Mother Challenge Cup as they lead the flotilla down to the line.
For a length, about a foot of clear water. St Paul's have hung on grimly for second place, ahead of the very fast finishing KCS. I have to look to the scoreboard, but Abingdon School came through into 4th. Shrewsbury have finished in 5th. Teddy's, who at 1,500 metres I thought were going to come through and take the whole race, but no, Eton and KCS pulled away from them, and Teddy's faded out. So, there we have it. Eton College, this very tall, powerful crew, have won on their home water. They've won the Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother Championship 8s in 2021. Luca Luto at bow, Sky Bacon, Rollo Ferguson, Harry Stevens, Theodore Bell, William Ferguson, Harry Geffin, Alexander Grundy, and the coach and the cox, Zach Mee. You should be very proud. Worthy winners of the Championship 8s 2021. And there you are on the screen. You can see the victorious crew congratulating themselves as well they might, being to the pontoons. And that, by any standards, was a highly impressive show from the home crew. They turned over the result from this morning when St Paul's were just the fastest in the time trials. But they've been having the occasional private match against other schools. But other than that, no other competitive rowing this season. And what a race, ladies and gentlemen, to finish off the day. It's been a cracking day of competition. And we must thank all the competitors, thank all the coaches in particular. And I hope that you've all enjoyed our coverage today. We've been very lucky. We've had some generous donators from the public who've enabled us to stream the proceedings today for you. And we're going to be back again tomorrow, of course, another day's competition starting at 8 o'clock in the morning. I hope that you something as good and exciting as today, and we hope, of course, that the weather remains kind for us. But all it remains is for me to say thank you very much indeed for watching. Thank everybody for officiating and helping. and thank the competitors and coaches alike. So with that, that's the end of proceedings today of National Schools Regatta 2021. Back tomorrow at 9 a.m.